That up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Gundog Outdoors. I am locally known Jeff Stanfield with the world fucking famous Andy Shaver. How are you doing today?
I butchered that introduction, trying to get us a water bottle.
You know there was people in there that could have done that for us.
One's a Mexican, and I don't like bossing Mexicans around because it makes me feel racist. So
Yeah, but he's 5'3" Mayan. He don't mind.
I like to go get my own water. If it's a person of another ethnicity in there, I'll just get my own water.
We always have someone of a different ethnicity working in the kitchen.
Harry's not. Tony's fat, so that could be fat shaming, but different ethnicities, you know, I like to let them know, listen, I'm one of you guys. I'll get my own water.
So all the Mexican ladies around here that hate you, you're trying to be nice to them?
It's unwarranted.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I treat Mexicans nice because I like to have my yard done and my roof done. So there you go.
Jesus.
On the phone with us today, or on camera, from Hillsboro, New Hampshire, Mr. Stephen Beck. How you doing, Stephen?
Not bad. Yourself, gentlemen?
Do you treat the Mexicans good in
Other
New
than the
Hampshire?
racist talk, he's doing pretty well.
Well, you guys had Mikey back already the way you were talking.
We talk this way all the time. Mikey's going to do an appearance here in about 3 weeks. He asked about coming down dove hunting. He misses Andy so much.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can tell you a funny Mikey story. The other day, Mikey messages me. I talk to Mikey quite often. We message back and forth. He's like the fat kid that I would not want to have as a son. But anyways, Mikey messaged me the other day, and he's like, hey, him and Thomas were camping out goose hunting up in Minnesota. They weren't going to get a hotel. They were going to, unless Mikey can mooch off somebody else, he's going to just stay in a tent outside. And he got him he said, hey, if I get this girl to come spend the night at goose camp with me, can I be on the podcast again if I can get her to come sleep in the tent with me? I was like, well, we'd have to see picture evidence of that. He goes, I'll just get Thomas to video it for you. Obviously, he struck out because we haven't seen a video or a picture of a female that spent the night with him. So,
yeah, I think it was just him and Thomas sleeping in the tent. So.
And it was cold one night, so you know.
You guys should record a little Stoner and Mikey action over the enchiladas. Put a tray out, let them duke them out for who gets the last four.
I'm telling you what, that the tension that night, it was bad. It was bad. And I can't remember what I'm thinking it was probably like January when that happened, but
no, it was December.
Was it?
Yeah.
Everybody was just fucking tired?
It was just we'd gone through a slump. It was a hard week of hunting, and it was a full moon and 75 fucking degrees every day, and Mikey had pissed in Josh's Cheerios, and Josh wasn't happy about something. I don't know. It just was one of them days. We was playing cards that night. Josh might have lost some money that night. I don't know, but the next night or two, Mikey went to town and got his own pizza.
Yeah.
And he set it in that table in there, and when he did, everybody went in there and got a piece of it. And he got like one piece of pizza out of the deal. And I got my ass chewed when I got home from my wife about it.
For Mikey?
Oh, yeah. She was not happy with me. Her exact words were, you need to do better than that. It's like a fraternity out here some fucking nights, and you don't help when you go along with all that shit. Well, I thought he deserved what happened to him.
He did.
And so, but instead of me saying that he deserved it, I said, you're probably right, just so I could go to sleep and be the end of it. You know,
I've been married long enough to listen to the boss myself.
sometimes it just, my problem is I don't have the ability to shut the hell up with her. Anybody. I just do not have the ability to shut up. And so I'm going to get the last jab in. And so my life would be a lot easier if I'd learned to say, yes, dear. That's the best advice to give someone getting married. Learn to say, yes, dear. Even when you know they're fucking wrong, which happens a lot. Half the time they're wrong. I mean, let's face it. In life, half the time you're wrong about shit you do. So they're 50-50 just like everybody else.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah.
But the ability to just say, yes, dear would be so much better.
Yeah, I've yet to learn that part yet, but I like to get the last jab myself in.
Boy, it makes for a long fucking life sometimes, I'm telling you. But
at 32 years old, I got more gray hair than my dad did at 50. So
yeah, a wife will do that to you. My new hobby now is pissing off dykes on fucking internet, and I found the perfect way to do that. is to address them, yes, sir. Oh, they hate that shit.
Or tell them the truth.
Yes.
I don't know what to say to them at the store when you see them checking you out. Do you say thank you, ma'am, or thank you, sir?
Sir, if they're being a bitch, it's yes, sir, or no, sir, because that makes them mad. I'm a ma'am. Not from where I come from, you're not.
Yeah. It's awkward, though. I mean, because a couple of them, I'm not a small boy, but a couple of them, I'm afraid they'll beat my ass.
I almost got my ass whooped by 2 lesbians when I was a senior in high school. I was in a car wreck, and we got rear-ended by these 2 dykes, and I was with these 2 girls. And they were trying to hustle these girls. They didn't want them to call the cops or to call her dad. And I was like, listen, you need to call your dad and have him come out here, and you need to get a police report, or your dad's going to be pissed when you get home. This one dyke looked at me, and she goes, what the fuck is it to you? Excuse me, sir. I'm just trying to help my friends here. But when the cops got there, I was like, thank God I'm going to get my ass whipped by these 2 dykes. I mean, these bitches had bags of softballs in their car. That's how gay they were.
Oh, wow, yeah. I couldn't imagine having to tell my dad that because he would have beat my ass for getting my...
Oh, it would have been... Well, my dad would have had a good time with it, I promise you.
You know what I watched the other night? It's on Amazon Prime. I got my own Amazon Prime account, Jeff. Don't worry.
I'm proud of you for that.
Porky's. And when you said your dad would beat your ass for getting beat by the lesbians, there's the one kid, he gets beat by the Jewish kid.
Yeah, that's
dad
sad part of that show.
Beats the fuck out of him, then tries to beat the Jew.
Yeah, that was a sad part of that show. That was a great show, though. But that's how politically incorrect my life was when I grew up.
Right.
And it's Agreed. Not. I don't dislike anybody because, like Gabriel, we were messing with him about being a Mexican in there. He don't pay no attention to us. He calls me a fat fuck, I'm sure, behind my back. I don't care. People need to quit being so fucking insensitive about shit and just enjoy life.
Yes, sir. Yep. Agreed.
Speaking of enjoying life, you live in a state where everybody I've known from New Hampshire is just about like I am and thinks I am. And then when you get to the coast, you deal with a bunch of liberals, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of rich Massachusetts people who don't like anything to do with anybody but themselves.
See, that's what's so hard about that area up there is that all the states are so small, but it seems like every state has its own personality. So, like, you go from New Hampshire to Massachusetts, how far is that? How far of a drive is that?
From here, anywhere I am to Massachusetts at the most is an hour 15, hour and a half just to get over the border. And I mean, an hour and a half, you can get damn near central Massachusetts if you want
to.
So
that's only 70 miles.
No, probably about 30 miles.
Yep.
70 miles. That's like here to, I mean, we go grocery shopping in Abilene. That's the nearest town to us. There's not a whole lot of difference between us and people that live in Abilene. But, you go from New Hampshire to Massachusetts or anywhere, and it's like a different culture almost.
Once you get to the capital of Concord and then Concord South, it turns a lot more liberal than it is Republican, but there's still the majority of them still Republican. They just don't like to admit they are.
Like the area around, I always pick Rye, New Hampshire is one of the prettiest places in the country, I think.
Beautiful.
And if I had a lot of money, I would have a home there. I could only go a couple times a year because I don't want to be away from my grandkids that much, but I would travel there a bunch, and it's beautiful, beautiful. But that place is a liberal mecca also, right?
It can be. I mean, you get a lot of the summer homes owned up there now along the whole coast are all Massachusetts. You got even a few rich people that still are from New Hampshire. They're very liberal. I mean, none of us normal folk can afford a house right there on the beach. I mean, into a house for a week, $2,000 to $3,000, and it's a shack. It's a double wide trailer within 8 miles of the ocean.
That's crazy.
It's ungodly the money them are $1 million homes everywhere. Big $1 million homes, beautiful homes.
Big money.
So, how far are you from Martha's Vineyard? There's a big outbreak there.
Long
way.
Long way.
Yeah, at least 4 hours. Probably about 4 hours. The way I drive, my wife says I drive like Pepe.
See, I've never been to that area.
Martha's Vineyard's on the Cape. It's like you go to Hyannisport where the Kennedys are from, and then it's Andy, you have young money, so one day you'll make it there. So I like the Cape a lot too. Anywhere in that, matter of fact, I'm gonna be up in your neck of the woods in about 8 weeks,
maybe.
Well, unless the COVID shit hits.
No, I don't. Our governor is a strong Republican. He's a little stupid on some things, but he's pretty he's about done with this COVID bullshit, just like the rest of us.
I heard even Massachusetts' governor said there's not going to be any mask mandates. We're flying into Boston and we're staying in Kittery, but we're going to be in that whole area the whole time. And for everybody out there that has offered to take me sea duck hunting and bear hunting, I appreciate it so much. It's going to be 2 couples up there and we won't be able to do anything, but I do appreciate the offer so much.
They're going to look at the leaves, old people stuff.
Sometime, and you guys just have to schedule. Maybe you guys go get a couple head guides. You and Andy can sneak up for a week.
That would be nice.
I would love it. One place I want to go to, and I've never been to, I want to go to Stowe, Vermont. That looks like a beautiful place in the fall.
I was just up actually by there this weekend with our 5th wheel camper, the wife and the kids. We went up to Glover, Vermont, which is a little bit south of the Canadian border, but it's beautiful country up there.
You follow that one guy on Instagram.
Oh, he's beautiful. The pictures.
KJP.
Yes.
I think isn't it? But yeah, he takes a picture of
Stowe
all the time.
with the white church on there. It's a beautiful place. So tell us about you guys are shooting sea ducks. So,
yes,
so
sir.
Do you hunt right offshore where all these $1 million homes are?
I mean, not typically. I mean, we're usually a couple hundred yards off the shore at the very least, but we have a lot of spots that we have 8 to 13 mile boat rides from the launch. And sometimes that can get hairy. Sometimes it's safe depending on the tide. That's how we base it, all on the tide and this just the current in general, because it can get real dicey real quick out there if you don't know what you're doing.
I know absolutely nothing about sea duck hunting, being a fat guy from West Texas. Do you hunt over oyster beds, or is there certain things that you're hunting over?
Yeah, a lot of them you're looking for just the mussel beds in general, mussels, oysters. I mean, that's what they predominantly feed on. So a lot of it, that's where you got to play the tide in the case, because a lot of them are rock beds. So if the tide starts to go out too quick, you can be stranded on a rock island till the tide comes back in, and who knows how long. I mean, it's usually 6 to 12 hours. So.
So not only do you have to worry about the tide coming in, you also got to worry about the tide going out and stranding your boat.
Oh yeah, I mean it was 2 years ago, 2 or 3 seasons ago. We took like a 13-mile boat ride out to a pretty secluded area that not many people hunt, and we were fine. Weather was great. It was like glass the whole ride out in dark. We killed our limit and abandoned hen eider. And as soon as we started to pack up, the swells picked up to like 3 or 4 footers, and my cousin's boat decided it was only going to run on 1 cylinder and misfire. So we had to go through 4 footers in an 18-foot boat. Took a normal 18-minute boat ride, took us about 3.5 hours on 1 cylinder at about 2 miles an hour. And not many people talked that whole ride, because we were just thinking, who calls Coast Guard first?
And you're out 13 miles, you said?
Yeah.
How deep was the water between where y'all were at and where y'all were hunting at?
Went from 30 to 260 feet back down to about 40 feet.
And I'm sure infested with fucking sharks.
Well, not this time of year. I mean, I'm sure there is. There's enough a chance that I'm not getting my ass in that water. I don't deal with sharks, spiders, or snakes. I'm all set.
So normally 4 footers, the boat would have been able to handle that no problem? Or would it still been a little dicey?
Depends on timing. Like they have 4 footers, like with certain amount of second intervals. Like if it's a 30-second interval between swells, I mean, you can roll that, no problem. But if they're just constant 4-footer after 4-footer, that can get dicey quick with the wrong boat.
So was there a minimum like size boat that you'll go out in? Is 18 foot as small as it'll go?
Well, that's as much as I would go out there. I mean, you can hunt right off the jetties, though. I mean, right outside of the harbor, and on the right day, be fine with a 16-footer deep V. But one of my good buddies that I do predominantly all my waterfowl hunting with has a brand new 20-foot Lund Alaskan, and with a built-on aluminum blind, and that thing takes it like a champ. But still, we all want to go home at the end of the day, so we try to play the tides and all that correctly.
So you're hunting in 260 foot of water. How deep is the water you're hunting in though?
Generally, where we're setting up our rafts of decoys, there's usually between 30 to 80 feet, depending on the tide.
So you're anchoring up, I'm assuming then.
Yes, sir. Yep.
God, 80 foot of fucking water. I can't believe that how deep does a sea duck dive?
Don't quote me on that, but I mean, you got to remember those mussel beds and those rock beds come right up probably to less than 10 feet to 15 feet under the top of the water.
Oh, so there are some big beds. So you're not hunting just in 80-foot drop offs. It's
Yeah, when the tide's low, those are sticking out like a mountain in the middle of the ocean.
okay. That's why there's so many shipwrecks in places all over then up there.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
that makes sense then. So you're not taking a dog out there. So y'all shoot
No.
birds, then you have to untie the boat, and then you got to go drive. And
We usually try to get 3 to 5 down, depending on how quick they're coming in. Make sure they're stone cold. Someone usually keeps an eye on them. Then once we get to that limit, we'll unhook from the anchor line, go out. Someone will drive the boat. Someone will net them. We scoop them back, hook back up to the anchor line, right back in the decoys, and we're right back in it. I mean, their birds are so much fun to hunt, but they're so dumb at the same time that, I mean, you can be literally putting the anchor line in, everybody's standing up, and they're still decoying into the raft.
they probably don't get hunted real hard, do they?
I mean, they do. I mean, it's pretty big up in this area, but there's not much. I can't say it's why they don't do it, but unless you're going to mount them, there's not much you can do with them besides make dog food.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true.
It is a duck.
Yeah, well, I agree with you there. I mean, my buddies have taught me some good ways to make them, but I'm like you a little bit. Unless it's goose jerky, I'm pretty much out.
Yeah.
I love to kill them, but
Well,
everyone else.
You
can
live
take
in a
'em home.
place with fucking lobsters and chowders and shit. Why the fuck would you eat a duck?
Agreed.
well, and so I mean, these birds, what are they eating on? They're eating on like those
They're eating clams.
Mussels.
mussels and stuff, aren't they?
Mussels, bait fish. It's a real fishy. I mean, even when you pick the bird up, you're like, wow, this is a beautiful bird.
Yeah.
But wow, does it smell god awfully homely.
But people do eat them though, don't they?
Well, some people do. I don't know one that does. I mean, we have 4 labs between the guys I hunt with. And even most of our dogs will look at them and smell them in a bowl and turn away.
Cajuns that eat the shit out of them, though.
I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah.
just anything that, because the old adage is, it's gonna whatever it eats is what it's gonna taste like. So if you got a bird that's eating corn or fresh grain or grass or something like that, it's gonna taste pretty good. But if it's eating a shit pit or if it's eating clams and mussels, probably what you're gonna taste.
I mean, I'd like to throw a big beef cattle out there. I bet it'd be pre-brined and ready to smoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have y'all killed any unusual birds while you're out there?
I killed the most unusual we killed is, I think, 2010. I killed a juvie king eider.
Is that unusual for there?
King eiders, yeah, they usually stay up in Alaska.
Oh, that some bitch is way off then.
Way
Do you
off.
shoot any puddle ducks out there? Because
Wait a second.
Go ahead.
What was banded? What did you say that y'all shot was banded on this day?
A hen eider.
A hen eider.
Yep. And unfortunately, the bans for the eiders the last probably 5 to 6 years have not been uncommon. I've got a buddy down in Massachusetts that runs an outfitter, and I bet they kill 40 a year.
Really? Now, does
Yeah.
the salt water, does that do anything to the bands as far as like eating away the numbers or anything, or are they pretty easy to read?
They're pretty easy to read. I'm sure they have, but it seems like a lot of the ones we've got have been within like a year or two of banding. They shot a couple last year with transmitters and banded.
Damn. So are you shooting a common eider?
Yes, sir.
So there's a common eider, a king, and a spectacle. Is that right?
Yeah, and we don't see any spectacle eiders.
Where are they common to? Do you know?
No, I couldn't even. Don't even quote me on that because I couldn't tell you. We see common and the last few years, probably last 5 years, king eiders. It seems like at least 2 or 3, whether juvies or fully plumed, starting to get shot on the coast of New Hampshire. So I don't know, and in Maine. So I'm not sure if they're starting to trickle on the wrong flyway down or just getting lost.
I can't. What surprises me about that, and I'm damn sure not a biologist by any means, but I would think that the eiders would come off of Alaska, which is at Russia, and I would think on the East Coast it would be like Greenland. So there's not really a place for them to mix up, I would guess. But
No, the only thing we could think of is that they're getting mixed up in above Nova Scotia or something, somewhere up in that area, because that's where all the eider bands seem to come from, or somewhere in Canada.
come from Nova Scotia. Are those
The spectacle comes from coast of Alaska and northeastern Siberia.
okay? That's how big are the eiders, like compared to a mallard duck?
Twice the size.
Damn, that's a big ass duck then.
Yeah, and they are beautiful. I mean, they're a beautiful duck, and the old squaw is probably more your wood duck size with that long sprague.
Is that the eider that's got the white and the green on its head?
That's a common eider, and then you've got your old squaw, which is that
Yeah,
long tail.
I've got a couple of them getting mounted. They're supposed to be here next week.
Yeah, we shoot a lot of those too, and then we shoot a lot of normal common scoters. We occasionally get a good push of white wings, but white wings seem to be more like the Maryland area than we get. You will shoot them, but we have to pick them out of a group.
I bet when that king eider came in, y'all thought, "What in the fuck is this coming into our decoys?"
Okay, the king eider.
We actually didn't. We didn't know. I was the last one up, and I needed one Drake eider to finish the limit, and a 3-pack came in, so I decided to take the last one of the group just to be safe, so I didn't knock down multiple. Right. And as soon as I shot, my buddy yells, "You just shot the creme de la creme!" But he started yelling. First, I was like, "Fuck! What did I shoot? The side of the fucking boat? What?" Fucking trouble? And he goes, "No, you got a fucking king." And I couldn't see the baby blue. They came in so fast. I was like, "Well, it's what it is." And
they say they weigh about 4 pounds.
The common.
That's about a mallard size then. A big mallard.
Well, they look, but maybe it's a feather plumage, because with the feather plumage, how thick it is being on the ocean, they're double the size of any greenhead I've killed.
Right. I looked at a picture also, and they look quite a bit bigger than a mallard.
Is that what Jeff Coates has got his picture on all his stuff? Is it a king eider?
I don't know. I don't follow Jeff Coates. I don't think.
He shoots a lot of eider, like normal common eiders, and he shoots a lot of white wing scoters.
Okay.
Common scoters.
So most of the time, will the birds come in from generally the same direction, or do you kind of have to have people looking all 360 degrees?
360 degrees, unless it's first light and they had a big raft somewhere, you can kind of pick them out. But generally, they'll come from any direction, and sometimes they bank in beautifully. But they seem, the last few years, we've been running a couple mojo boards out there, and the eiders seem to suck into those spinners.
That's just on. What's it sitting on? The mojo.
It's just sitting on like a 3-foot float board that we have tied down on its own anchor line, hooked to the main line, and it just kind of floats in the middle, and it's just a flash. The eiders seem to love it. Old squaw and scoters don't care. Scoters will come into 100 milk jugs. They don't care.
So how do you do your decoys? It's lines out in front of you, but you got to look 360 degrees. Are there decoys around you 360 degrees also?
No, what you try to do is you set your boat to where when you come into the drift, you're parallel to where you want to be, and then you set they're about 250 foot long lines. You drop your anchor line in it, you get it up snug, and then you start clipping your decoys and make them vertical or parallel. Some people are different depending on how they want, because the wind doesn't really seem to matter as much some days as you'd think it does, because they're used to pretty much landing anywhere they want. I mean, they'll come, as long as you have a rock island or an island behind you, they'll come from 360 degrees, see your decoys, and then bank hard right into them.
And now, whenever you're scout, what do you look for? You just look for these big rafts and try to get close, or how do you?
Yeah, there's really no. I mean, unless you want to spend all night or all day looking out on the ocean, you can, unless you're hunting close to shore and you're going to hunt a rock or mussel bed, you really just got to find the flight path. I mean, these birds will come from a long ways, and there's a lot of old school guys that will run a small black and white flag on the front of their boat just for that little bit of motion, and that draws their attention. And like I said, I mean, the birds are fun to hunt, but they're not the brightest birds.
Is there any calling to do?
No, you can take a short reed goose call, and you can turn it into an eider call. And I only know one guy that does it, and he doesn't even call. He just did it to say he can, because he's a really good goose caller.
So most of the time, you're just kind of waiting for the bird to do its thing.
You're looking, keeping eyes.
Wow, that's crazy. Now,
gentlemen,
whenever you're out there, are the waves very bad, or is it mostly calm?
Depending on the day, we try to pick where we've got some decent weather, because nobody likes to get seasick.
Right.
We had a couple days last year. We picked up a group on the boat launch that their boat wouldn't start. Some gator tail he had, and we picked them up, asked if they wanted to. 2 guys wanted to go with us, and we were about there an hour and a half, and everyone was getting sick.
Fuck that.
So we called ice starting to the side of the boat. It wasn't getting pretty for anybody.
Have you ever been seasick hunting, Andy?
No, never have been. But it's funny that you say, nobody was talking the day that the waves were so bad. You're like, nobody was talking. And I mean, I don't have anything that's life or death like that, but I've gone down some shitty roads here, and you've got a trailer behind you, and like when that son of a bitch starts fishtailing and you've got somebody with you, it gets real fucking quiet in that cab real fast when you're like, well,
It
Who's
sure does.
Who's going to call Jeff first and tell him that this trailer is stuck in the ditch for the next?
Yeah, like rock, paper, scissors, shoot in the truck.
I turn my ringer on my cell phone. Is off at night right now, but first day of waterfowl or first day of dove season, I'll turn that some bitch on at night just in case something happens. When that fucker ever goes off in the middle of the night, I'm like, this. It's never good news. Nobody calls you at 4:30 or 5 in the morning with good news.
I'll do that this year.
No.
Hey, just want to see how you're doing, and it's none of that shit. It's you ain't gonna believe this. Or well,
yeah. Fun sport, but it can get dangerous real quick if you're not paying attention and know what you're doing.
So what do you have to do to call the Coast Guard? You just fucking whip out your cell phone before you go down with the ship and be like, hey, mayday, mayday, or is there
Well, they all run radios out on the ocean. So, I mean, you can just come across the CB and get a hold of somebody. If not, there's usually a local lobsterman or captain around fishing. And they're all decent like that. No one's going to let anybody go down.
Yeah.
But it's still you really want to play, so you try to play it safe.
have you ever had a whale in your decoys?
No, but we had this summer we were out haddock fishing out in the same area, and we had a bunch of whales and dolphins breaching right around, and they would not leave us alone for the life of us.
What were they doing? I mean, were they
Just chasing bait.
Oh, the bait?
Yeah. They're just chasing bait fish across the top.
Fucking whale and not capsize your boat in a heartbeat just by fucking around.
Yeah. Sure will. A couple years ago striper fishing, the pogies were in thick, and they're small bait fish that run in schools of thousands to millions, and the whales were right off the coast of Hampton Beach, and I mean they couldn't have been 200 yards from the kids swimming.
Jeez.
Damn.
They were just sucking in gallons and gallons of pogies, and I'm like, man, imagine some little kid out there on his raft thinking he's daredevil ass and get sucked in.
Yeah, fucking suck you right in. Nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing about the Northeast Beach that sounds fun. When I was at Chatham, Mass, and they had signs out warning people about great white sharks. And these people got their fucking kids swimming in the water. And don't touch that seal that's bleeding over there. Don't try to pet him. Well, fucking he's bleeding because the damn great white shark ate a half of his ass. And your kid's out there in the water with him, they get dumbasses.
And that's new too. I mean, when I was a little kid, I mean, you never heard of the great whites, and now I don't know if it's climate change or what's going on, but the water temp seems to bounce up so high, just high enough in the summer. We've been getting more and more, and my wife is obsessed with great white sharks, and she is crazy, batshit crazy, because I'm all set with that.
What is she likes to go out and look at them, or what?
Like sharks, and she'll watch Shark Week like it's fucking Pornhub with a premium subscription.
You take her ass to Chatham, Mass. Right there, they come in every day chasing them seals. Or you can take her over to Martha's Vineyard, and Big Dig Mike and Obama got him a house right there. She can see them some bitches also.
Yeah, Christ, if our fucking boat was on fire, I would not jump into that ocean until I'd ride her down.
Ugh.
Yeah,
that'd be a terrible decision.
We're going there next summer too for a week, taking the grandkids.
Yeah, well, don't let them go more than 50 yards outside the beach. They'll be all right.
We're renting a house that's going to have a pool and a hot tub in it. We will walk the beach and swim in the pool. We will not be.
Yeah. Safest way to do it. That's the way I would do it.
Because Grandpa Judge here, he's the one that always is the water sports guy with the grandkids. I'm in the water playing with them, doing shit, because Andy don't do shit like that.
You got to go after their eyes, Jeff. So when this happens, just go after their eyes. Poke their eyes.
If some shark's eating my fucking fat ass, you think I'm really going to be trying to poke his fucking eyeball? I'm going to try to get away from that bastard.
No, you poke his eyes, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's a weak spot.
That fish have gotten bad, too, it seems like the last couple of years.
The what? Jellyfish?
The jelly. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not that afraid of them, but I really don't want any of my buddies pissing on my legs.
No shit.
Have you ever been stung by one?
No, thank God. I stay out of water unless I'm in fresh water.
Have you ever watched that show, Impractical Jokers?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times, yeah.
One of them's a real pussy, Sal. He's just a big twat. Anyways, one of his punishments one time, he had to have someone pee on his leg in the beach and get stung by and had to have some guy whip his dick out and piss all over him, and that was his punishment. And I thought, that's a pretty awkward thing to have to ask somebody to do,
Yeah.
Take a leak on me, please.
Because this hurts a little.
But I've never been stung by one, but I've heard it's excruciating.
Yeah. That's why even if we go south to vacation ever, I'm not going in that water.
No. I was swimming. I was swimming in the Pacific off the coast of Puerto Vallarta one time, and there was a bunch of jellyfish in the water, and I almost got my ass in the middle of them. I had to swim way around to get back on the boat, and that was into me. I got back in the water then.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Closest up to jet ski. I'd try that once or twice, but First time I see a shark, I'm fucking out of there.
So how often do you guys eat lobster that live up there? All the time or not very often?
Often. Probably twice a month when we're lucky and feeling rich.
So you don't get it any cheaper than anybody else does then?
I mean, we have a couple buddies that are commercial lobster fishermen. We'll get some good deals, but it's not that good a deal. It's still expensive, and they're always, I mean, just to get any type of size, the bigger you get of a lobster, the worse they are. So to get a bunch of good eating 1.5, 2 pound lobsters, I mean, I think the last time I bought them was a month ago, and I got 8 of them, and it cost me almost $130.
So you're not saving much money. What about getting your own lobster pods? You see them everywhere. Are they hard to do?
No, I mean, they have like the resident, you can get like 5 or 10 traps, and you can go to commercial, but it just, where I live an hour away from there, it's like, it's just not convenient because I don't know the exact laws on it, but I'd have to imagine like anything trap. I'm sure it's 24 or 48 hours, something along those lines. So working full time with 2 kids, it'd be kind of hard to get down there every 2 days just to check lobster pots.
What's amazing is, especially when you get into Maine, every cove you look at, there's a 500 freaking lobster pods out there. They're everywhere, and every one of them. And I always thought, man, it'd be cool as hell to own a house here and throw out your lobster pods and go get your lobsters all the time.
If you live right on the coast, if I lived right there, it'd be something I definitely did. But I'll just go down to the grocery store and buy some.
I was watching that Gordon Ramsay show, and they were catching fresh lobster. I can't remember what state he was in, but he accidentally like hooked the wrong line. It wasn't the person he was with. He got his British ass ate out. They didn't pull it in, but he like grabbed it, I guess, and maybe disturbed it a little bit. And that lady, he was with a lady captain, she jumped his ass. That is like etiquette 101. You do not touch another one's crab pot, or they will have your ass. But she did. She let him have it. So you want, what's the perfect size lobster? You said the bigger they get, what is it, just tougher, gamier, or what?
Yeah, just tougher meat. I mean, I've eaten an 8 pound lobster, and I had a few beers in me, so it was fine. But some people say they won't go anything over 3, and it's like, well, I just don't want to have to eat 16 to eat a full meal. There ain't much on a 2 pound lobster.
No, there's not, and it's crazy. Didn't Rhode Island, isn't that what they fed their prisoners?
The whole East Coast did back in the day, the Revolutionary War day. There's a fort off of Maine that I've been to, and it's got to be somewhere between Portland and Bar Harbor. There's an old Revolutionary War prison, and
up by Island.
Where's it at?
Up by Herman Island.
And they fed their captives all
lobster.
Met a really neat guy there on the beach. He had a what's it called, with the metal detector. Yeah. He was walking up and down the beach, and I asked him, I was being nosy just like I always am, like talk to people, and asked him what he was, what are you looking for and stuff. And he was finding Revolutionary War stuff. He said every time there was a storm that comes through, he would find some Revolutionary War coins, all kinds of stuff. And I thought, that's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, they find some cool stuff, even up in the inland area of New England. I know a bunch of guys that metal detect, and all the Revolutionary and colonial stuff they find, old buttons off the shoes. It's like, because I like history myself like that. And it's like, wow, I just haven't gotten into metal detecting yet. I got so many hobbies. It'd be kind of tough to get out and do that and have any time for anything else.
And that's what's crazy is you're in the place where it all started for America. I mean, it right in your backyard, this whole thing got kicked off.
Yeah, every other corner you come down, it seems like in any of these back roads, there's Ben Franklin's house or another president's house, and colonial this, colonial that, and it's beautiful, but it's a lot of stuff, and I don't know if they'd like you metal detecting around there without giving them a pretty penny.
Yeah, that's no shit. You find Ben Franklin's original like eyeglasses or something, and they'd be like, "Wait a second now."
Yeah, well, I'd probably disappear, and they'd act like I never found it.
Yeah. So is there any field hunting to do in your area, or is it all sea duck?
Yeah, we predominantly only sea duck hunt whenever all our other seasons close. We have a pretty unkept gem for what we've got for dates and our silly limits right now. But for big Canadian geese, and every few years you can get on some really good field mallard stuff, and some of our rivers are pretty good. Our problem is the way our seasons run is that like we have our inland duck zone is October 5th to the 7th or to the 11th of November this year. And then we have a split till the 24th and then to December 19th. Well, during that split, is when we'll get our first giant push of mallards, and we can't hunt.
And it's 11th to the 24th, you said?
Yeah, October 5th to November 7th, and then November 24th to the 19th of December.
That sucks.
And that's when we get a bunch, and then we get a bunch right after. As soon as you chase that ice line down, it's like that's when we get our birds. So sometimes we get lucky, and it happens during the season. But for big geese and for mallards on the river, you can pretty consistent if you stay scouting. And that's what it comes down to up here is you just got to eyes in the sky and a lot of fuel.
Now, what are your limits? You said they're a little goofy.
Yeah, they knocked us down a couple years ago. Now we're at 2 mallards, 1 hen only. And same with the geese. It's only 2 geese during the regular season, but you can still kill 6 ducks. But you have to have a mixed up between blacks, wood ducks, 1 pintail.
Are there enough of these other ducks to where you can get your 6, or is it a struggle?
You can shoot. If you'll shoot your blacks, no problem. You'll shoot your mallards, no problem, and your wood ducks, no problem. So as long as you can decipher which one is which, you can put your 6 out quick. I've only heard of 2 or 3 pintails in the last couple of years getting shot, and most of them are hens. And I've not seen many canvasback or redheads ever shot in this state, unless you're on the coast. And I don't really generally duck hunt on the coast.
Now, do you do we have a black duck in here?
Yeah, right there on the sign, Stanfield Big Honker Lodge.
Oh,
sign.
I mean, are they pretty easy to distinguish between that and a mallard hen? Or
we're so used to it. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a jet black mallard hen.
right?
See, they don't look that black to us.
It doesn't
To
look
us, they
that
look
black
just like
to me.
mallard hens to us.
Oh, yeah. So if you lay them down next to each other, I mean, there's a big difference. But that's where they can get fishy on you, is because, and my buddy Mike could tell you better about it, but there's a certain feather on the wing that if it has a pigment of a certain color, the Fish and Game will consider it a hen mallard, and then they can really screw you there. That's a big gray area.
Like the bars are different though. One's purple and one's blue.
Yeah, but there's a lot of crossbred blacks and mallards in our state too.
Oh, that makes
Okay, I
more
got
sense.
you then. I got you then.
Well, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
But
our Fish and Game to leave those gray areas because I don't think they like to write tickets, and everyone I've ever met is really good people, but it's like they leave such a gray area that it's like they're looking for an excuse sometimes. So sometimes it can get squirrely, but we've never had an issue. So
I'd be worried.
Do y'all have any big field? Like my times on the Northeast, I've never seen a big field. I've never seen a 80 or 100 acre field of crops, and I'm sure there are some places.
Yeah, we've got a lot. We've predominantly corn, and then we've got a lot of big alfalfa and some mostly winter wheat. But it just depends on when you go. Like I've got a field down the road. I'm waiting to hunt September 1st for geese. It's probably, let's say it's 75, 80 acres. It's just a giant cow pasture, and it's been loaded, and we're just waiting.
Do y'all field shoot ducks up there any?
Yeah. Every once we got to wait. If we get snow, we'll kill them in a field, or if we have water. If we get a good rain and they flood, we'll kill them.
But if not, you're hunting like rivers and stuff like that.
Yeah, rivers and small ponds. But I mean, that or we'll hunt back shoots on big lakes.
So they don't feed in the cornfields up there?
Nope, not unless it's either -30 or there's water or snow, because then they'll just follow the geese to the feed.
That is crazy because there's so many places I hear about like that, and they just don't field shoot mallards. And anywhere we have dry fields, we're going to have ducks also.
I agree. And we have a lease in New York, which is only 4 hours from us, and we have a 500 acre lease, and we can shoot mallards in that field all day long. And it's the same vertically wise or horizontally wise. It's the same. So I don't understand what that 4 hour trip makes difference, but is what it is, I guess.
I wonder if it's got something to do with like what's living in the water. I wonder if where we are, it's there's nothing for them to eat, because we hunt a lot of cattle ponds and stuff like that. A lot of these, it's just a slick bottom. And I wonder if maybe where you're at in New Hampshire, there's enough for them to just feed on the river, and they don't have to go out and into a field unless it's snowing or cold. And maybe in New York, there's not enough for them to feed in the water. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but that's the only thing I can think of.
That makes sense, though, because anywhere in the Central Flyway.
We have brassicas, so.
What was that?
So that does make sense. We have a lot of natural brassicas, like in our river, like the natural grass and wild rice and stuff like that. Like I'd see why they would stick to it, but it seems like unless they need the carbohydrates and protein from corn in the freezing cold, they don't seem to hit the fields. I mean, you might shoot 1 or 2 wood ducks early in the year on like a fresh winter wheat field because they just seeded it for cover crop, and they're just coming to pick the seeds out of the dirt.
See, from here to the top of Canada, you're going to have birds in the fields feeding all the time. The whole Central Flyway's full of field duck shooting. Now, do y'all shoot widgeons in the wheat there? Or do y'all even have widgeons?
I mean, people randomly. I think I saw 2 shot last year on a New Hampshire waterfowl farm, and I've never even seen one. And I've killed just about every duck that comes through this area.
That's why everybody the East Coast that hunts with us wants to shoot widgeons.
Yeah.
And they are fucking stupid. If you can ever get them in a wheat field, just hang on to your hat because they're probably about like a sea duck. I mean, they're just fucking stupid. You can be outside of the blind doing jumping jacks. You got your spinners going, they're locked in, and that's where they go.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of stuff you got to do around here. You got to traffic a lot of things. It seems like every place that's good, nobody. Oh, my wife likes to see the geese. You guys, and just they're so majestic to all the liberal people up here. It's hard to get on places.
What would be the percentage? Would you think of the times that you ask? How many times do you get on?
Oh, I'd have to say probably 40%.
40% good.
40% yes, and the rest no. Half the 60% is, I'd say 90% of that 60% is, I don't know what you want to ask, but it's no, and no, you're not hunting the fucking geese.
You know, I've been doing this so long, I remember when you asked to shoot geese, they would almost thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. They're eating all my deal. I had a farmer in Oklahoma tell me about 3 years ago, I don't want nobody to hunt them geese. I hope they eat every fucking piece of weed out there so I don't have to combine it. Well, why the fuck did you plant it then? You know? Dumbest thing I've ever heard anyone ever tell me about.
There was a farm we used to hunt down the road that was full of apple trees and had a little horse pasture pond in it. And the geese used to load in it. We used to hunt it, and then a couple of groups started asking about it that finally figured it out. The guy got so sick of people asking, he stopped mowing his lawn for the last year and a half. And now his front lawn's 4 feet tall everywhere, so the geese won't land in it.
Just because he didn't want to have hunters hunt it.
No, he was fine with us doing it. We'd call him the night before, be like, "Yep, go ahead. At least I know. My kids will know." And then, no, just too many people started asking. He's like, "No." He's like, "I don't have time to deal with that bullshit." So
that sucks.
We had an email today. The funniest email I've ever had from a kid in North Dakota. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't want people bothering him. But he sent me an email about people, and he lets people waterfowl hunt on him, but they've electronically posted it for deer hunting. And he had the funniest shit. If you want to come eat shitty food, come to our cafe. And it was a funny fucking video, funniest email I've had maybe ever. But, you know, them people, they get inundated with fucking people asking them to hunt.
It's constant.
And so...
yeah,
I don't blame them. There's so many more hunters than there used to be in Little America because out here there used to not be nobody around. You know, even here, I'm a local guy now, but when I first came to Knox City, I wasn't a local guy, and I had to knock on doors and visit people. And now, if I ask someone to hunt out here, it's someone I know. And you know, it's just a whole different world. But they get sick of getting hit up by the same people every day, especially if you live somewhere that's got a population like in the Northeast. Y'all, there's nowhere you can go that there isn't some people. Y'all's small communities are not small because 20 minutes or 30 minutes away, there's a bunch of people.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And it seems like the sport, when I started back in high school in like 2006, I mean, it was me and a couple of guys and a couple of the old timers that introduced me to it. And now it's like, it seems like every other guy waterfowl hunts. And there's realistically probably, I don't know, maybe 30 to 50 good places within 50 miles of me. But there's 15 different groups of 6 guys asking to hunt them. And so they're all dairy farmers. They're all active farmers. They don't have time to deal with people asking or people pissing and moaning about asking a goose hunt.
Now, are there any outfitters in your area?
No,
none. It's all
guys. It's sea duck only, and I don't think there's actually a single sea duck outfitter in New Hampshire. They'd all be my buddy Randy out of Massachusetts, and then guys up in Maine.
Yeah. And that's so counterintuitive because if you look at we've gone through this before, if you look at the numbers, we're losing waterfowl hunters. So but everybody we talk to, everybody says the same thing. It's like, it seems like there's more and more every year.
There's more active waterfowl hunters than there used to be, I think.
And all our guys are waiting. They use it for the first couple weeks of September to wait for bow season. They're all deer hunters that sounds horrible, but they're just wannabes. And they try to come in and duck hunt or goose hunt. And it's like, man, you guys are just ruining it for the rest. They shoot a cow or shoot the side of a barn. And it's like that, or we're full of jump shooters. They'll go jump shoot a roost or a loaf. It's like they don't even do it the proper way. And that's what hurts us around here. The guys that actually enjoy and live to do the art of waterfowl, like me and my group, it hurts. It's hard to find anything solid.
That fucking sucks.
You know, and I'm not putting this all on young people because I think everyone that's older was younger once. We all know that. But old people appreciate more stuff. And the longer the longer you do something, the more you appreciate it. And to go jump shoot a roost is something that I would have done when I was 18 or 19 or 20, but I wasn't going to do it 30 or 35, and I damn sure wouldn't do it in my 50s. And as you get older, you respect and appreciate everything from the past more, from old vehicles, old car, everything. And I think as your generation gets older, you're going to be more like me, and there's still going to be 19-year-old kids that are still doing it the way they do it. It's just the way they do it. And it's easier for them now to get in tune to where things are because of them cell phones.
I think you're already more. You and me are kind of on the same page. We're a little bit older for
your age.
32, 33.
I have to. You guys on a couple podcasts ago, you said nobody appreciates goose hunting like the old timers did duck hunting, and I said I thought it was talking to my wife, and I said, well, a couple podcasts ago, Andy had a good thing where he said waterfowl was like poetry in motion. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly like me and my buddy Mike think about big Canadian geese. Like, don't get us wrong, we love the duck hunt, but it's something about big Canadian geese that just lights my fire. And as long as it's legal, I don't mind it. But I had a guy ask me the other day, he goes, you really use Benellis to goose hunt? He goes, I thought the steel shot ruined the barrels. Like, he's like, just take junk guns. I'm like, well, apparently you don't goose hunt, you just kill geese. Like, he didn't really. For that.
I thought the steel shot ruined the barrel.
Being a waterfowl hunter, a true waterfowl hunter, someone that eats it up, appreciates it from looking at artwork. If you go in a building and they've got a painting of a waterfowl, do you stop and look at it?
I'll buy it.
Okay, well, but if it's not for sale, you still look at it. You appreciate it and you respect it.
Yeah.
Waterfowl hunting, I think, is a lot like someone that's a seaman or a pirate or something back in the day was. There was something about the love of being on that water that drive their life, I guess, if that makes any sense at all. Drove their life. That's the way waterfowl hunting is. Now,
yeah, I get my rocks off by the calling, the tricking them, the art of tricking them, knowing that I got them to do what we wanted them to do. That's what we live for. I don't care if we kill 3 or 103.
Yeah,
that's the way it's supposed to be. You get it. And those guys that are jump shooting roost and doing that stuff, maybe one day they'll get it. They may not. You've got an old soul just like Andy does because you've been doing this for a long time and you appreciate and respect it. That's what the old guy does. That old guy that you see at the cafe that's got the old plaid on and he's hunting his 60th season or whatever it is, he don't care if he kills a duck in the morning. He would like to. But for him to be out and to see Mother Nature in that's his JoJo of his life. That's what makes him go.
It's just like when we talked to like Lee Chose, he's hunted fucking everywhere, and he's been doing it a long time. It's gotten to where it's him, his dog, maybe a good friend, and if that bird doesn't do it exactly like he wanted it to do it, he won't shoot it.
We don't. Yeah, I got a really good group of people that we all feel that same way. So it's at least the ones we do kill, like I said, whether it's 3 or 103, the ones we killed did it exactly how we wanted to and how we read up the script.
Right. And it's such a chess match, and you should try to learn something from every time that you go out there. But it's chess. It's every day. It's chess. It's how do I get this wild animal that is got his own brain, and it's just chess, and you got to always be one step ahead and kind of give them what they want. Maybe what they don't even know that they want. And that's where I find the most enjoyment out of it. Because, any monkey can squeeze the trigger on a shotgun. That's the easy part. That's the easiest part of the day is pulling that trigger.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of the disheartening part of like the guys that jump shoot around here. Again, I'm glad they're out enjoying themselves, having fun. It's legal technically, but it's like we've scouted all summer, and then I've a day's opening day of our resident season. Right at legal light, you'll hear somebody in the distance with multiple guns blowing up that roost, and all of a sudden, those 200 birds we had coming and trickling into this feed all come at once. So it's like we've spent all summer, all this money, and all our decoys and trailers just for you guys to go shoot a bunch and cripple a bunch in the water that you probably have no way of retrieving. And that's it's just like, for what? Because all it is a Facebook picture.
Yeah, it's disheartening. And that's, if Facebook and Instagram have fucked up one part of hunting, it is the fact that they get that big pile picture at the end and nobody gives a shit, what went into it. So if, like you said, if you roost shoot it or if you do it the right way, nobody really gives a shit. All that matters is that in picture, especially for a 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kid. That's all they care about. They'll do it by any means necessary. And it sucks for guys that, want to enjoy the nuances of a morning, the calling, the trickle of the birds coming out. That's what's fucked it up.
So from talking to you, you've been probably waterfowl hunting for what, 20 years?
Yeah, since 2005 when I was a sophomore in high school.
So 16 years. Have you noticed the difference in y'all's bird population on the East Coast where you're at in the last 10 years?
Yeah, but I'd say it's more of like a timing thing. I mean, and it also seems like waves. Like every 4 years they're back, and then there's a couple years it's tougher. I don't know. We have Great Bay right outside of the ocean right there and on the sea coast that holds a lot and winters a lot of birds. So it's like they get to Great Bay and they just stop and they don't migrate completely south, but they hold that coastline the whole way. So where we are directly in like the center of the inland zone, following up one of the biggest rivers, it's like some years we'll have cornfield. Every other cornfield's got 100, 200 birds in it for geese. And then there's some years you might have to drive 60 miles to find a field with any geese.
That's crazy.
So, but they're there. They're not. It's hard to explain, really. I mean, if I could, I'd be a lot more rich than I am, I guess.
Yeah. So you start September 1. You're a week away. How many birds, give or take? What's the field that you got set aside? How many birds are we looking at?
We've got 4 or 5 fields set aside. We're just keeping eyes on to see which one the night before will be the best. But we're looking at from 70 to 150.
And then they all just kind of trickle out, 2s, 3s, 6s?
Yeah, that's how they look in the field. I have one that we're really looking at. It's got probably 150, 200 birds in it. I showed up at 6:20 this morning in a dead fog, which I could barely see with the headlights in my truck, rolled up, and through the fog, there was already 80 in the field. I can't even explain that because the roost is not that close, and I've never seen them fly that early with that amount of fog. I mean, it was a dense, banked-in fog off the river.
I wonder what would have happened. I wonder if something spooked them off of their roost.
I don't know. But it also seems like the other day I went by at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in 85-degree heat, and there was 100 out in the middle of this wheat field. It's like, that's not normal either. Like, you guys are either way early or you're not leaving, and there's no water on the property.
Right, yeah, because they should be back on water loafing somewhere.
Yeah, you're normally by 9 o'clock at the latest up here in September, they're back on water or on their route to get back to water. And then a lot of the times our birds won't feed in the afternoon in September because it's so hot and muggy. Mm-hmm. They feed it in the mornings and they just stick on water because a lot of our places where they roost here, city parks, small ponds, they can just walk up on shore and eat bread or go see Martha and get whatever she's got in her bird feeder. They don't need to feed in the afternoon.
Right. And, I mean, their body, they're not burning a lot of calories, so, I mean, they can just kind of chill on the water all day. So do they early season, do they switch fields unexpectedly for no reason, or are they pretty patterned?
Yeah, no, that's the problem with New Hampshire is we do have a lot of green fields and hay fields, and so there's so much food. I mean, they could be hitting a field consistently for a week, and then opening day you hunt them, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, what happened to them? and then you leave at 9 o'clock, and they're 2 miles down the same road on a different green field, and they hadn't touched it all summer.
I know one of the groups that was hunting in North Dakota, that I won't mention any names. Same thing happened to them. They'd been looking at a field, they got permission, they did everything the right way. Fucker short stopped them by 2 fields on opening day for no reason.
Oh, we had a good time last year. Opening day, we had 7 guys, so we could kill 35. We were at 29 birds, and it was about 7:30 in the morning. We had a 7-pack come in out of nowhere, land about 100 yards out, which I don't know why they did that. The rest did it beautifully. And they were walking into the decoys, which is going to sound bad, but it's like, all right, let's just finish this limit up. Out of nowhere, the neighbor came buzzing over him with a drone.
Oh, shit.
And just started corralling them and kept them out like 150 yards out in the field. And then finally they got sick of that. They beat the drone up a little bit, knocked it to the ground once, and then they got out of there.
What was he doing with the drone?
Fucking with geese?
I couldn't tell you. Just taking video or pictures. It wasn't even his field. I don't know if he was just curious about what we were doing, if he thought he was going to help us. Couldn't tell you.
Well, there's some places that someone would have shot that fucking drone.
We thought about it, but I believe in New Hampshire it's legal.
Yeah, you don't do that shit in Texas either. You get your ass in trouble.
We all pointed his gun at him one time when he buzzed the layout blinds. We all picked up quick and pointed at him. He probably shit his britches a little bit.
That's hunter harassment though, also on his end.
And we do have that law, but I mean the farm we were hunting was an ex-fish and game officer, and he told us just let it go. He goes, I said, I'm pretty sure that's my neighbor's son, and he's only like 12 or 11. He goes, I don't think he was trying to bother you, but he did. Right. He goes, I apologize, and I'll talk to him later. Yeah. So we left it at
that. Boy got an ass chewing later. I'm telling you right now.
Dad, I was just trying to fucking help him. The geese were landing 100 yards out.
That would work, man. But even that, you can't. I forget what the actual law is, but you cannot push, or whatever they call it, to push migratory waterfowl towards hunters in our state of New Hampshire.
You can't do that. It's a federal law.
That's a federal law. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw where a kid in the Austin area was like 14 or 15, and he was using his drone to fly the neighborhood and get naked pictures of girls laying out in their pool in the school there. And he was sending them all his buddies, and somebody's mom got, beaver shots and shit. And I thought, that's what I'd have been doing when I was a kid if we'd have had one of them.
It sounds like a pretty good entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Because then you got ransom money too.
Yeah.
Like, listen, lady, if you don't want these to see a light of day, you're going to pay me some money.
What drone costs? I'm going to have to get one of those.
Yeah, no shit, right? There's something I was going to ask you, and Jeff got on the drone talk, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, son of a bitch. I hate when this happens. What the fuck was it about? It was about geese, but for the life of me, I cannot remember. So, do you shoot many bands, or is it mainly non?
Yeah, we shoot quite a few bands.
Yeah.
We get a lot of birds out of Canada, Maine. Somehow we get Boston bands in September coming out of Boston Harbor. We shoot quite a few bands. I'd say probably as a group, at least 10 a year usually. Some years better. I mean, 3 years ago, we opened a day of resident season. We killed our 4-man, 20-bird limit. 7 of them were banded.
Ooh, shit.
And then the next day, we hunted it again, and a buddy of ours killed a 22-year-old band that was banded there 22 years ago,
wow.
And he's still been back to that same feed.
That's insane. What did the band look like? Was it all just worn to hell?
They had to acetone it.
Oh, they did?
We had one that was – we killed one that was 23 years old, and it was moon-shaped on the side where it had wore down, where it was about half the size on the sides.
It was pretty decrepit-looking band, and of course the kid that got it shouldn't have gotten it, but it is what it is.
How do you do it? Just draw out a hat?
Well, no, it was a single out of a group, and we let him shoot, but he was a new waterfowl hunter. It's like that's like a nostalgic piece. Like I would have paid big money to have that band on my lanyard.
I remember what I was going to say. It was about hunter harassment. Have you seen the video, guys? I guess a golf course got a hold of some hunters to take care of some geese.
I thought they were blackbirds.
Were they?
You talking about in Florida?
I don't know where
they were
it was.
Grackles.
Were they?
I think so.
Where the Karens were out there with like their foghorns.
He's shooting
birds. It's like, bitch. Number one, I've got a loaded shotgun. And the one guy, like, he didn't give a fuck they were there. Like, he was still shooting. But this lady was like sticking her air horn right almost in front of the guy's barrel. How she didn't get her fucking hand blown off is beyond me.
I'd have slapped that fucking air horn out of her fucking hand, thrown it at the crocodiles.
So what, do you know the details of it? Did the golf course get a hold of them?
Yeah, I don't think they weren't doing nothing illegal. But
Well,
I think
obviously not.
I think it was grackles. I just watched the ladies, and
Right.
they never showed the damn bird. They saw one hit the water.
Right.
But I think they were shooting grackles.
But that should be hunter harassment. They should lock those bitches up.
If they're off of their own property onto the property you're hunting, it's considered hunter harassment in our state. I mean, we've had people do it with fireworks, but they can't do anything about it because they're still technically on their property. But when you think back, it's like you said, we all have guns. Like, that's a pretty ballsy person.
Mm-hmm.
They're just taking into account that people aren't going to shoot somebody. That's the same with all these fuckers that are tough talkers on the internet. That's because they're not dealing with somebody knocking their fucking teeth out. If they got slapped one time in the face, they'd quit doing that shit. This I think was a country club in Florida, and it may have been where people live at and stuff. I don't know the backstory on it. I just watched the ladies whining and shit about the same as the dipshit guy in the park in Florida about the guy catching the fish, and he was just absolutely going batshit crazy. This guy was harming the fish by catching it. And I just, like, what the fuck?
That was a joke.
I'm trying to find it.
But I mean, our golf courses, I mean, we have a lot of geese in our golf courses, but they don't want us to hunt them the right way. They want us to ride around in a golf cart before the first tee time and just jump shoot them off a pond. So we've just, no, thank you, not for us.
Yeah, I can't find it right now, but yeah, it's worth a Google. But yeah, they're just going. There's 2 or 3 guys, and they are just going to town on these poor fuckers.
We have geese on golf courses here, but nothing like what we saw in Sault Ste. Marie. Fuck, there's 300, 400, 500 Canadas, big Canadas on a golf course, and I thought, man, they're just mowing that son of a bitch down.
No, they do tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage. But I mean, by the time they close, they want, like, we can hunt them like our second season when the golf course is closed for the year, but there's no hide at that point, and the geese start those little ponds are starting to freeze up. That's the only reason they're going there. It's safe.
And then they got that shit all over the ground. Where did we go?
We were in Sault Ste. Marie when
we
Reese
dropped off Ron.
Yeah, put Dad's ashes out, and there was goose shit
everywhere.
And Andy's oldest, he ran right across all that goose shit.
Couldn't imagine being at a golf course. It'd be terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I don't understand why they don't just trap them and haul them off. But the thing is, if you do it, they're going to be replaced by another goose because there's everywhere up there. Yeah.
And we've had that problem up here probably 4 years ago. There was a small roost lake that loads up with geese, and it's a private community. Like, you can't get in there on that lake unless you live there. But instead of letting somebody hunt them, they took like 120 big honkers and they nitro gassed them, and they put the net over them and just pumped it with nitrous until they all suffocated, and then Fish and Game just hauled all the dead geese off. Like, how is that?
They're not helping
That's
themselves
terrible.
at all on that.
Like, why not just let us hunt them? You let us hunt them one time, they're probably not going to come back at least for that year.
Right.
Like, just let somebody. It was perfectly safe to hunt.
And it's way more humane to shoot it rather than just fucking suffocate it.
Yeah, suffocate them all. I mean, yeah, Christ. Even if they just went out every day, a fish cop, and just fired his pistol 4 or 5 times to the lake, that's enough alone. They're like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's a bad look for sure. When do you said you got a place in New York State? When do you try to get over there?
We're going to try to get up the end of September when the big migration starts up there, because we've done pretty well up there in late September, but we've predominantly sea duck hunted. This will be our first fall on it, so we'll see how it goes. But it's been pretty good. The rest of the guys hunted it during the snow goose season and did pretty well. I'm not really into the snow goose stuff, so I didn't go.
Yeah, it's
But I'll kill them over a Canada spread, but I'm not setting up strictly for snow geese.
What's your situation on ammo up there?
Thank God I bought Boss.
Yeah.
I've been looking all summer just to find skeet rounds to take the wife to shoot so she can just get warmed up for the year. And I finally found some at Bass Pro this morning. And if you do find any, it's normally 1 to 5 boxes a person. You cannot find any steel shot. So back in May, I ordered all my 20 gauge stuff steel from Boss.
Yeah, it just. Well, I don't know what snow goose hunters are going to do. I really don't. If it's as bad as what they're forecasting, there won't be a fucking shotgun shell.
No, they're in
February, March gets here.
And and you're telling all of them, but there, there's a lot of guys there's a lot of people that aren't waterfowl hunters that go on these snow goose hunts, just like our hunts and everyone else's. It's a corporate deal. Joe books the hunt for the office. He invites everybody, and Joe's not a big waterfowl hunter, and he's like, hey, we're going to go up to Arkansas and do one of these conservation hunts, and then he's going to book it January 15th, and they're going February 15th, and about February 7th he goes, shit, I'll run down to Academy and buy 4 cases of shells and gets down there, and there ain't going to be shit to have.
No, you can't find anything. I mean, I can't find any rifle ammo. The only thing, weirdly enough, you can find is 223 ammo, which does me no good for waterfowl hunting.
Nope.
Yeah, we had to order the thing through Boss, and I did it back, I think, the last time you guys talked to Brandon from Boss. And he said, don't wait, order now. And I went right online, and I was like, yep, take 2 of those.
You can find deer ammo here right now. I've seen it. I was in Academy the other day, and they had deer ammo. I didn't look at a bunch of it. I grab the same thing every time. I grab a box of 9s and a box of 40s if I go in there, and just to put up just in case World War IV breaks out.
My wife and I found some number 9 shot for upland bird stuff behind the dogs this fall, and we've just barely found that because she's been itching to shoot skeet. And I'm like, well, we're not, because I only got 4 boxes, and we do a lot of traveling with the upland dogs, shooting grouse and pheasant. So it's like, we kind of need to save some. You're just going to have to make sure they count. But we found 10 boxes this morning.
Is grouse better eating than pheasant?
Wow, they're pretty equivalent. They're both delicious.
Yeah, I've never had grouse, but pheasant is very good.
Yeah, and I don't like to eat the ducks or geese just like you, but upland birds, it's like a better chicken.
Yeah, pheasant is excellent. We used to do pheasant up here sometimes in quail.
So what do? You just batter it just like fried chicken?
The pheasant, a lot of them we save till I get a good number of them. We do like pheasant, like fettuccine Alfredo.
Oh, wow.
I bet that's damn good.
Yeah, it's real good. And the grouse we usually just make like poppers with. Throw a little jalapeno, cream cheese, wrap it in bacon. Because we'll eat those the night we kill them up at our camp up north, and just pop them on and couple snacks around, drinking a few beers with everybody.
Well, I think it's funny when someone that lives in fucking New Hampshire talks about going to their camp up north. Fuck, you're up north.
Yeah.
You're a long fucking way up north already. Everybody wants to go further north.
Canadian border too.
So, have you ever had veal Alfredo?
No,
oh,
I have
it's
not.
excellent.
No.
When have you had veal Alfredo?
I had it in New Orleans. It's very good. Veal fettuccine Alfredo, very, very, very good. Highly recommend it.
I've only had veal a handful of times. I
like veal.
I was younger when I had it, but I mean, it did knock my socks off.
Well,
I had Parmesan when I was a kid, and I agreed. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't. Nothing to write.
Veal fettuccine Alfredo is really good. You might have more of a. I might respect your opinion more. Andy drinks fucking Milky Way with scotches, so you kind of got to give him a little credit. Not much credit for that shit.
Jeff.
I'll stick to Budweiser.
Oh God Almighty!
That's a Northeast beer.
Wife beater beer is what that shit is.
Oh wow!
That is God Almighty. Oh.
If there's a domestic disturbance down here and the cops get called, they're drinking Budweiser most of the time.
Bud or Bud Light,
Wow.
and listening to Hano music.
And that's all the northern beer. Everyone seems like they drink Bud Light, Budweiser, or Twisted Tea, and I can't do Twisted Tea. It just gives me bad acid indigestion.
I don't mind the Twisted Tea. I've had them a couple times. I like those Arnold Palmer spiked. Those are really good.
Oh, I do those. I like vodka myself too.
Vodka.
What kind of vodka? You're not drinking Tito's up there, are you?
Yeah, we do drink a lot of Tito's.
That's crazy. It's everywhere now.
There's another good one. Dripping Springs is really good.
That's where Tito's is made.
No. Excuse me. Deep Eddies. If you can ever find Deep Eddies vodka, it's really good.
Another Texas vodka.
Yeah.
And people thoroughly enjoy Fireball up in these parts.
I've had some bad experiences with Fireball.
That's white trash redneck whiskey is what that is. Logan Pyatt drank that shit by the shots in fucking Mexico.
Really?
Fuck yeah. I was like, that's not whiskey. That is
It's good. I like it.
That's fanboy whiskey is what that shit is.
I made a drink with that. It was what was it? It was Fireball and cream soda, and it was actually pretty good.
I'd have to try that, but yeah, I normally just get peer pressured into just a Fireball shot real quick, and then I regret that instantly.
It's usually followed by putting a tampon in.
Oh, fuck off.
Or getting upset.
Fireball's like the new Jägermeister, I think. Like everybody's taking shots.
I would say that's
Fireball.
probably right. Do people still drink Jägermeister anymore?
I don't know.
Not that I know of. Only college kids at Keene and UNH College.
That was probably last time I had a Jaeger shot.
I was in my early 20s last time I did a Jaeger shot.
Really?
No, I don't really care for that shitty black licorice anyway.
What is it? Sambuca, same way. You ever? That shit's horrible.
We had a bad experience with that. Me and my brother-in-law was playing. He wanted to play quarters one night at a Christmas party of ours, and that's all he had left. And he's like, "Let's play with this." Yeah.
You ever had it?
I've never had it.
It's black. It's
rice.
Black licorice liqueur. They used to make it in Yugoslavia back when there was a Yugoslavia.
I'm thinking of sake.
Yeah, no, that's fucking nasty shit too.
Yeah, that's great. That's like you might as well just put 93 premium in a can.
When the guy drinking Budweiser is making fun of what you're drinking some bad shit.
I don't mind Budweiser.
You know what's funny though is Budweiser still is one of the top selling beers in this country, and I don't know anybody that drinks it.
Yeah, people tell me I'm old because I like it like that, but I just can't do the Bud Light. I mean, I can. I don't mind them, but if I gotta go out to the store and pick a beer that I'm gonna drink myself, I can't do those fancy IPAs that taste like dog shit. I just can't.
Oh, I hate fucking IPAs. I can't. Budweiser, it is the top selling beer in the United States.
Yeah, and I don't know a fucking soul that does it. But if you go to an old VFW or something, that's all they're fucking drinking is old Buds.
Oh, that makes me feel bad about myself, Jeff.
Well, I just calling it the way I see it.
Can you guess the second? I'll give you both a shot.
Bud Light or Miller Light?
No.
I was gonna say Coors Light.
Coors is number 3. Heineken.
Ugh.
Heineken's better than the other ones.
Hey, what I want to say, but I thought that was a different pigment beer.
Heineken gives me a headache.
Yeah, that's what all the colored people up here like to drink.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I said I don't really want.
Oh, they drink malt liquor down here.
Yeah, they drink Heineken like it's going out of style.
I never did know that. I'll put that together because if someone orders Bud Light, it's a Mexican usually. All my Mexican friends drink Bud Light. Like it's going out of style. They don't drink fucking Dos Equis or Corona, the good Mexican beer. They drink Bud Light. And now...
a nice Corona with a lime is decent. I won't buy it at a store, but if we're out to a restaurant or at a bar, I'll get one with a lime in it.
We used to go to a pizza joint in Chickasha, Oklahoma called BJ's, and they had sloppy Tecatis. Is that what they were, Andy?
Yes.
And it was Tecate beer in a frozen mug, and they had the pulp all around it. They call it dressed. I don't know what y'all call it up north, but it's got pulp, salt, and lime all around and this is the damn best beer you can ever have in your life.
Sounds like a headache.
Oh, that shit's good.
It goes down so smooth. So we got some discrepancies here. This beer, this article says Bud Light is number 1. So who knows? Either way, Anheuser's at the top again.
Yeah, and a lot of all the girls. Well, I shouldn't say all the girls, but a lot of people drink the ciders up here because they're all locally made.
Are they good?
Oh, they are very good, but they're just too sweet. I don't really care for candy or sweet stuff like that anyway, so I can't.
You know what we had in Michigan that was really good? We had mead. I had never had mead.
Yeah.
And it was decent. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it was good. I wouldn't want to drink a lot of it. I would get fucking a headache, but it was good.
Got lost in a cow pasture to that one night.
On mead?
Yeah, that I had been in a million times in my life at my nephew's birthday party.
So how do you? I mean, do you buy it in the stores there?
They all the local farmers up here usually have it. My brother-in-law used to buy 50-gallon drums of it. So they would all the girls would pull off of it, and they were just passing it around one night. Well, after about 3 or 4 of that didn't last well for me.
So what was it again? Is it honey?
Yeah, honey.
That's fermented honey is mead, right?
Yes.
And you said it tasted okay?
It was good. It was more carbonated than what I thought. It wasn't as sweet as what I thought, and it was more carbonated.
Yeah, I would think fermented honey would be really sweet.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Was it beer tasting like or more wine?
Not really. More wine, if I had to guess. And I don't know how it is with you. What'd you say, Steve?
It's more that homemade wine taste where it's almost got that little bit of sour effect, but it doesn't at the same. I mean, it's smooth, and that's the problem. I think it's dangerous. Stay away from it. It's not really that.
Yeah,
good.
you're exactly right. It's kind of got that fermented taste, but it's not bad. But it's and it's not as sweet as you would think. It was different.
What is the and it's real high potency, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, higher than an average beard, I'd have to
Yes,
imagine.
yeah, it was. It was around, I don't know, 8-10%.
Do they? I've never seen it in stores. Have you seen it in stores?
I haven't.
Do they sell it in stores up there? Or is it all homemade shit?
No, you'd have to know like a guy that owns an apple orchard or a bee farm to actually be able to get it that I know of. I mean, I've never seen it in a store up here.
So what? Why
Maybe
the apple orchard?
because they use honeybees themselves. So between that and their homemade ciders, they usually have a bunch of stuff.
I've never had a homemade cider, a real homemade hard cider. Is it sweeter or is it not?
It's sweet, but I don't really know how to explain it. I don't care for it. My wife would love that as an anniversary present every year, but I can't do it. It's not for me.
Yeah, I don't. I like trying different shit though.
Steve seems like when he drinks a little too much, he goes way over and has a really good time them nights.
Gets lost in the cow pasture.
Yep.
Yeah, I make a lot of good friends that way.
Yeah.
You do not need to hang out with Logan Pyatt. I'm telling you right now.
I think we'd have a good time. I think between me and him and Blake, we could have a pretty good shot. Have a good time.
What did he tell you in Mexico, Jeff? When I get to drinking, I will know everybody intimately that's in this bar.
He does too. He sit down and visit with everybody. We had a really good time on vacation. Logan was a lot of fun. His wife is a lot of fun. They for hanging out with two old people they did for 4 days or 5 days. We had a great time. But Logan is a freaking drinker and a partier. And what amazes me is he switches right to red wine when dinner gets here. And it'd go be bottles of wine. Whew.
Yeah, I could drink just red wine at night, but I can't switch back and forth.
Then he's having a vodka, and because he was not a good influence on Michelle, or she wasn't on him, because she drank him toe for toe just about. Your mom fell one time we're in Mexico. I haven't told this story yet, but it started raining one night, and everything's tile floor. So we're going back to the room, and Michelle bust her fucking ass. I mean, bust her ass, toes bleeding and shit. So I pick her, help carrying her up here, and I do not have a lot of patience with drunk people. It's not one of my strong suits. I'm like, gosh damn it, Michelle, and she's like, what is it? I just kind of laughing and shit. I'm like, I'm ready to get her ass, put her fucking bed, and go to sleep. My night's done just about. Well, Logan and Hallie come walking up, and Logan's got this big goblet of red wine. It's about a 1 gallon glass, it looks like. And he gives it to fucking Michelle. I'm like, she just about fucking fell and broke her fucking leg. She don't need to stab herself to death. So I give him back the cup. We're walking down a hallway. It's pouring down rain, and they've got a section where there's no roof at. And Logan looks at me, and he goes, where's all this water coming from? Fucking Einstein, it's raining. Where do you think it's coming from? Oh. And God mighty, but he had a lot of fun. We met a little kid. We met a kid, 18-year-old kid that was going to show us how to drink, named James from St. Louis. We had
those funny videos.
Oh, that kid was so fucked up, and I was just poking at him and stuff. And Logan was drinking with him, and the poor kid, he got in the swimming pool the next day, and we saw him at the pool, and he had his old glasses on over there, and we had him convinced he borrowed $150 from us the night before, and he is scared to death. He was like, well, and his buddy's like, well, why does he owe y'all money? Well, fucking he does. Is he not going to pay us back? Well, they were scared. But
see, you wouldn't come to a party with like that because you'd fuck with me the next day, and I wouldn't know what was true and what wasn't.
Well, yeah, that's true. I would. Logan wasn't that drunk, but that poor kid didn't. And then we made the kid thought he pulled his wiener out in front of everybody, and we had him convinced of that, and he was scared to death. And then he asked us, well, was it flaccid? He goes, because I'm a grower, not a shower.
That's important when you're 18.
You get to that point, though, it's not even fun anymore. I don't know how he functioned the next day. I'm old. I got kids in there. I guarantee you every day them kids are up by 5, so I'm getting up with them, too. So
well, this kid was 19 years old or 18. He just graduated high school, and he actually got up every day. I was kind of surprised. I didn't think we'd see him the second day because he was so drunk that he couldn't see things around him. He had that tunnel vision drunk. And he was just drinking. He was drinking whatever. We got him a shot of Jim Beam or Makers, and he drank a freaking 4 fingers of it straight down, just swallowed it down. I thought, well, he'll be out for the night, and he was up the next morning. Whew. But what's scary is we saw him the second night there when he was really drunk, and he was wanting to walk down the beach. I'm like, dude, you can't. That's where people get fucking murdered and shit. You don't walk down the beach. Stay with your friends. And
Yeah.
I would never, ever chaperone a bunch of fucking kids to an all-inclusive place in Mexico. No. There's no way. And every year we go, we see these groups of high school kids and these parents that do them. And the two of the chaperones on that trip, I think there was a single mom and a single dad, and she had some fake titties, and I think the single dad was more interested in trying to get in the single mom's britches than he was watching his kids.
Well, hell yeah.
You don't blame him.
No, not at all. Yeah. But, I mean, they're not there to watch the kids. He's trying to bang Miss Johnson, you know?
Trying to make another.
That's right. He's like, we can do this all over again in 18 years with our own kid.
Well, Stephen, it has been a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
We wish you the best up there this year. Enjoy being around all them liberals.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, just FYI, so I know, how long does it take to get from Manchester to Stowe on a normal day? Is it a hard drive, or is it an hour drive?
No, it's probably from Stowe from Manchester. I don't know, a few hours depending on traffic. Depending on how many times you stop too.
Well, we ain't gonna stop much. We will too. I'd lie about that.
There's some good places to eat along the way, so I would definitely stop. I mean, if you guys ever broadcast up into the White Mountain area in New Hampshire, Woodstock Brewery's real good, and there's a lot of good places to stop. When you get closer to that, let me know, and I'll send you a bunch of places to stop at.
I will do that, because that's one of my destinations I want to go. It's funny, when I look on a map and something's 47 miles away, I'm thinking, it'd take me 25 minutes to get there. Fucking up there, it's 2.5 days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot. It's all back roads half the time. Unless it's 89, 93, or 91, you ain't going anywhere quick.
No,
so.
It's terrible how slow everybody drives. Well, we appreciate you being on here. God bless you, and you have a great season, and keep us posted on your season and how it goes.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Enjoy it.
See you, bud. Bye.
I miss doing these public guy hunts.
It has been a while.
Interesting person. Done a really good job.
I just got a message. ETN's out for the year.
Is he?
Yep. So James Robinson will be the number one in that backfield now.
Yep. That's going to make his value go up a lot. He was good last year. I don't think Urban Meyer is going to have a very good year. Urban Meyer is going to lose more games this year than he has in the last 10 years of coaching, probably.
So is Trevor Lawrence.
I saw a deal where it said that in the last something years, he's lost 9 games.
Wow.
He's going to lose more than that this year.
I can tell hunting season's get just here.
What's it?
Fucking place smells nice. We got tables are all ready to go.
Cleaning ladies. Well, they're having a dinner out here tonight.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be why the tables are all ready
The volleyball team's coming out here for dinner tonight. Tony's a team mom, so he's up here doing all this stuff.
He's like the single dad in your story about James.
Yeah, but there's none of them women that look like that mom did.
Listen, you get desperate enough.
I'm telling you that this lady was an attractive, probably 42, 45-year-old woman.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We haven't done one. I bet it's been
a while.
2-3 months. That was a lot of fun. It sounds like he is in just God's country.
Yep. Tomorrow we've got the guy from Delta on, and then next week we've got Brian Richter, and I've got somebody else too on the schedule.
Is Richter going to be in-house?
No, we're going to do him over the Skype, I think.
Okay.
Well, so we don't have to feed him, don't worry. That's what she's worried about, feeding Brian.
No, that wasn't it.
We've got...
In-house is always a little bit better.
Dove season opens a week from tomorrow, don't it?
Yep.
So
just like he was saying, September 1, they're rocking and rolling. They got another week. That would be hard. 1 week of looking at birds in a field.
Oh, well, fucking get ready, buddy.
Why?
We're going to be running geese out of peanut fields for 3 or 4 weeks because them dipshits set our seasons.
Oh.
Instead of 2 weeks, we're going to be doing it 4 weeks this year again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw where opening day of dove season, we got a 60% chance of thunderstorms now.
Where they're a little bit different is I don't think they're going to run out of food like we do.
No. Ours is different. If it was just on wheat fields, we wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
But it's...
When those nuts are gone, party's over.
Yeah, there's, so you better hope there's wheat around there or something.
It's fucking dirt field at that
point.
But,
yes, most places that are just feeding on wheat, they're going to be wheat. Like Oklahoma, we don't worry about it because we're hunting on wheat up there.
Right.
And... anyways, I have got openings to shoot ducks in November in Oklahoma. If you want to come shoot ducks in November in Oklahoma, we can shoot ducks. We're going to shoot gadwalls. We're going to shoot widgeons. We're going to shoot mallards.
Ringnecks.
What?
Ringnecks.
Yeah, ducks. We're going to shoot ducks, but I've got ducks. If you want to come kill ducks in November in Oklahoma, I have lots of openings in Oklahoma. We've got 28 ponds to hunt. 28 ponds. Great places to hunt. Water. It's going to be water hunt, morning hunt. If you want a deal in Oklahoma and you want to come shoot some ducks and pull some trigger in November, holler at me, and I can take care of you. I've got lots and lots of dates open in November to shoot ducks.
Excellent.
Because people all the time, you're probably booked. Well, I have been and I haven't been. I have been and I've lost some customers because of the COVID. I've lost some corporate groups. So I have some openings, and I have openings in Texas all 3 months too. So everybody that thinks we're booked on everything up, we don't run just one group a day, and that's it. We run a hunting operation, and we're busy. But I do have openings, so the people keep calling and asking, yes, I do have some openings. 940-658-3172 or stanfieldhunting.com. Giveaway for the cookies will be tomorrow. Thursday we'll release the cookie giveaway, and
I'm going to announce this on Facebook here in just a little bit, but it comes out the next day. If you subscribe, I'm going to make a post on our Big Honker Podcast Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take a screenshot that you did it. Put that in the comment section below. That will be worth 3 entries into our giveaway. So you do that one little act, your name gets pumped into the hat 3 times for that. So
repeat that again.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Big Honker Podcast. Take a screenshot that you have subscribed. I'm going to have a post on Facebook here in just a little bit.
Okay.
Put that screenshot in the comment section. That way I know you've subscribed.
And you got 3 entries into our giveaway.
And each person that does that, I'm going to put their name in the hat 3 times for that.
Why don't we give a mug to the winner, to whoever does that?
Why don't we give them a mug and a shirt? We'll put a shirt in the mug.
Okay, you do that.
You got some coffee mugs in there.
I got a coffee mug.
We'll do the white mallard shirt. Stanfield.
Yeah,
mallard.
I know which one you're thinking. I think I have some sizes of all left. Okay, that'll work.
That's what we're doing.
I'll give you a shirt. If I don't have that shirt in your size, you'll get a shirt and something else. But you'll get a Big Honker or Stanfield shirt, and you'll get a coffee cup or mug.
Mug. Just one of
the tumblers or the coffee cup?
The coffee cup.
The coffee cup. You're going to get a coffee cup and T-shirt, but it's only on the Facebook deal.
Facebook page.
On this deal, just for the subscribe. You get 3 entries into the other deal, but we're going to give you a coffee cup and a T-shirt.
Yep. There you go. Sweeten the pot a little bit. And then we'll pick a winner for that on, I don't know,
opening
Friday.
Morning?
No,
that'd
we'll
be
do it
fine.
Friday.
That'd be perfect.
Yep. So, anyway, just, trying to get people's names in the hat. We got a lot already. Jesus. I'd have to go back and count, but
lots.
It's substantial.
My Instagram has been busy. jstanfield68.
Shameless plug.
Yep.
All right, we're out of here. We've got Delta fella tomorrow. We're going to talk duck numbers. So this was a lot of fun. We hope that you enjoyed it. Go enter into our giveaway. Bye-bye. And go check out all of our sponsors. There is no reason that you should be having to look around for waterfowl gear. We've got sponsors for everything that you could be needing. Go check out Pacific Calls, Dive Bomb Industries, Dirty Duck Coffee, Boss Shot Shell, Shin Gear Waders, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Gundog Outdoors, Goose Creek Retrievers, Bang Tail Whiskey, Eyesight Drone Service, and Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.